So, hello everyone, and welcome to another very exciting interview of the Contemporary Circus Initiative. It's an absolute pleasure and an honor for me to introduce Firenza Guidi. She has become in the past year a dear friend and a great inspiration to me, especially since we immediately thought of a project to do together, which I find is the best way to get to know people you are inspired by. So, to say the bare minimum, Firenza Guidi is an independent theater, circus, film director, writer, and visual artist who has developed No Fit State Circus's style of performance as a touring company through all incarnations of Immortal and Taboo, which he, of course, directed. But this is a mere title for a very long, full of creative projects to no end resume. She is the director of European Live Arts Network Frontoio and Elan Wales. She is based in Cardiff, Wales, but as I said before, works internationally on several projects simultaneously, if this is at all possible. So, hello, Firenza. How are you again?
I'm good. Wow, it's great to hear all of this, and hope that we will live up to the expectations.
Well,
hello.
I'm sure we will. I want to thank you first of all for joining me for this interview, because I know your schedule is how shall I put it, more than demanding. So I really consider it a privilege to have you here. And
thank you.
Also in Israel in January, are you excited to be coming to Israel?
Very excited. Very excited. I think it's going to be a very different experience, and I'm looking forward to it and trying to get my head around quite a lot of the things. And usually, if we're going to other European countries, you know what to expect and you know how you're going to play. But for me, this is a new venture.
Great, fantastic. Well, for us, it's a new venture too. So we're going to create it all together. So, but we'll speak more about that later. Let me just ask you for starters, can you please tell us in short a little bit of what you're up to these days?
Yeah, I think that the quickest way to summarize the kind of work that I've been doing in the last couple of months and before is to say that fundamentally I'm committed to originating new work. This is my passion and mission, originating new work in the form of highly visual, physical circus performances that fundamentally encourage contaminations between different artistic languages. They could be circus and theater, they could be film and circus or theater, live music. There are each time a kind of new collaboration, and this kind of work is really the summary, the excitement that has been part of what I would say would be summarized by two words: creation and research and development. For me, there is no formation or research without a creation, and vice versa. And so it has taken me to Berlin, to Avignon, to Brussels, to Italy, and hopefully to different places in the new year. I will not go into each detail of each show because they come like a meteor, and they can be very large scale. They can be very small performances, which, as I say, inspire and promote collaborations between different art forms. This is, in a nutshell, what I do and what I will continue to do in the new year with new ventures with No Fit State in Buenos Aires and with the Eden Project. They are the big ones, but also with smaller creations with different individual or couples, circus artists with whom I will work and continue to develop their language and their creation.
Great, fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to be a part of your new year. It sounds very exciting. So before we speak about what we are up to in January, a little bit more specifically, let me just put this project within the framework of the On Contemporary Circus Creation Center and our activities. So it has been my wish since 2 years now to bring to Israel contemporary circus directors from around the world to work with professional Israeli circus artists. And the idea was one of sketch circus that would be presented to audiences here as a result of an intensive creative project. And when we met in London, was last February, I think, it became slowly clear to me that you are the person to start up with this new initiative and to be the first one to come here. So the title for the project we elaborated together is Wall and All There Is Between. And I'd like to ask you to speak a little bit about the theme and the concept that you built up for this.
Yeah, I have been fascinated by the idea of wall and what wall represents in many different ways and very different kinds of walls. But particularly also after one of my latest trips to Berlin, and particularly looking at the place and the wall, that places where the wall was still standing, or the places where there were little traces, just traces on the floor, on the pavement of what it was. I realized a number of things which I will not go into at the moment, but what I particularly focused on was the idea of the wall creating a space between the I, between me, between the subject and the wall. This space could be real or imaginary. It could be, I find the space as a really alive one, where the performer or the creator can engage in a really exciting way. I find this space between a fantastic starting point for creating work, whether it's circus work, whether it's writing, whether it's creating a piece of a clip from a video or a film. I think it's full of possibilities, and that is the one thing that fascinates me, and I would very much like to, particularly talking to you as well, it was great to exchange ideas, this creative space, which is the space between me and potentially not necessarily real walls, but walls that we all create for ourselves, and sometimes also knock down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to ask you to speak again a little bit of where you come from, but it's a question that I'm asking towards the people that are registering to the workshop and to these very exciting 2 weeks of creation that they're going to do with you. And it's a little bit to get them introduced to your methods of work that you've developed over years of creative projects in various contexts. And you have quite a few concepts of work that you've developed through the years. So the question is a little bit about what people can expect from the 2 weeks that they're going to participate in, but also where this whole project is, where are the roots of this project? Where does it come from? What is the method that you bring with you of work?
Yeah, I will try to answer by connecting with the previous question, which is the wall question and the project concept. One of the things that characterizes what I do is this idea of borders. There is a piece which I wrote some time ago that that very much summarizes what I am as a crossroads, or as a place where a number of things pass through me and come out at the other end in a way that is partly a creation process. So this space in between that we talked about a minute ago is also very much one of the starting points of me as a creator, through the idea of borders, where very often when you are a circus director, you have to find out, or you pose the question, where is it that my work begins and where is it that it ends? What is the space where would this happen had I not given that impulse? Where does that creator begin to create? And it's a constant negotiation of space between me and the performer that is in front of me. It's a constant negotiation between my memory, my roots, my background, and what I bring to a creative process, and also an infinite respect of what the other person brings to that creative process, in a way where the borders are delimited, and there is a possibility of creating a line, but at the same time blurred. And that is very much one way of working which characterizes what I do. With that, I very much believe that I very much believe that there is a language in performance, there is a language in circus, there is a language in performance which unifies, which brings together without abolishing differences or erasing identity. This is a firm belief that I have. And I think that it's a little bit like singing a 5-part song in a harmony. You will stick to your own line whilst listening very closely to the other 4 voices and placing yourself within a center where you can then hear the whole whilst taking responsibility for that one harmony. And unifying language in performance which unifies without abolishing individual identity or differences. And that has different strands and names, and one name that actually I didn't give to my methodology of work, but it was a journalist that did. That was the idea of glocal, where I very much work with roots and memory of a place, this place could be a city, or it could be a small village, it could be a very small nucleus of people, or large, and that from that nucleus we talk about global. So it goes from it could go from the individual to the universal. It could go from a tiny crack in the wall or story or memory to become a much larger cycle of life.